A black mother went to her son's school at lunchtime. What she witnessed left her speechless. "Hey, little monkey, go back to your seat." The supervisor's voice echoed through the cafeteria like a gunshot. Amanda Santos froze at the entrance, watching her worst nightmare unfold before her eyes. Her son Gabriel, only 11 years old, was being dragged by the arm by Mrs. Patterson, a middle-aged white woman who ruled the cafeteria of the prestigious Lincoln Academy with an iron fist. The boy stumbled, dropping his tray on the floor, as cruel laughter erupted from the VIP tables near the windows. "Mom." Gabriel saw her and his face filled with pure terror. Not joy at seeing her there, but utter panic. As if she had just witnessed his darkest secret. Amanda was 34 years old and worked 2 jobs to pay the $2,800 monthly tuition for the most prestigious private school in town. A nurse by day, a cleaning lady by night, she did everything to ensure that Gabriel had the opportunities she never had. She never imagined that her hard-earned money was financing a system of daily humiliation. "How many times do I have to explain the rules to you, boy?" Patterson pushed Gabriel toward the darkest corner of the cafeteria, where 5 other black and Latino children ate in silence, heads bowed, as if trying to disappear. Scholarship students stay in Section C, away from the families that really matter. "But I'm not a scholarship student," Gabriel muttered, wiping away tears that refused to stop falling. "My mom pays just like everyone else." "Your mom?" Patterson laughed, a cruel sound that cut through the air. "Honey, I know exactly what your family situation is. A disguised social program is not real payment. Now sit there and stop causing trouble." Amanda felt the world spin. Gabriel wasn't on a scholarship. She paid religiously, every month, on time. But there he was, being treated like an animal, while white kids filmed him with their cell phones to post on social media. What Amanda didn't reveal at that moment was that she had come there following a disturbing intuition that had been growing for weeks. Gabriel had changed. He stopped talking about his friends at school, started asking to have lunch at home, made up excuses to skip school. When she asked him about it, he always said everything was fine, that he didn't want to worry her. Now, hidden behind a column, Amanda discreetly pulled out her cell phone and started recording. Her hand was shaking, but her determination was unshakable. This moment would change everything. If this story of injustice has touched your heart so far, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because what Amanda discovered in the next few hours would not only transform Gabriel's life, but expose a scheme that would destroy careers and reputations forever. Amanda continued recording, her experience as an emergency nurse having taught her to remain calm in crisis situations. But watching Gabriel be publicly humiliated while other children laughed and filmed was testing every fiber of her self-control. Patterson wasn't done with Gabriel. She turned to the other children in Sector C, and clapped her hands twice, as if calling dogs. "Attention, scholarship students. Time for your daily lesson on gratitude." Amanda watched in horror as 6 children, all black or Latino, obediently stood up. Gabriel among them, head down, shoulders slumped as if carrying the weight of the world. "Repeat after me," Patterson smiled with cruel satisfaction. "We are grateful to be at Lincoln Academy." "We are grateful to be at Lincoln Academy," the small voices echoed, broken, lifeless. "We know our place and we respect the rules. We know our place and we respect the rules." A Latina girl, who couldn't have been more than 9 years old, began to cry silently. Patterson approached her like a vulture. "Isabella, do you have a problem with our school rules?" "And no, Mrs. Patterson." "Then why are you crying? Grateful children don't cry." Amanda felt anger boiling in her veins. That woman was psychologically torturing children, and apparently did so on a daily basis. Her right hand continued recording while her left hand mentally noted every detail, every word, every face of the staff who watched in silence. "Gabriel," Patterson turned to her son again. "Since your mommy pays like everyone else, explain to me why you haven't donated a new wing to the school yet? Why doesn't your family show up at gala events? Why do you arrive by public bus instead of a BMW?" Gabriel muttered something inaudible, tears dripping onto his tray of cold food. Louder. "All these privileged children deserve to hear." Because we don't have enough money," Gabriel sighed, each word a stab in Amanda's heart. "Exactly. You're different. Charity cases who got in through disguised social programs. And do you know what the difference is between you and those kids over there? Patterson pointed to the central tables where white students ate peacefully in padded chairs under natural light from the windows. They deserve to be here. You are tolerated. Amanda felt something break inside her. Not her heart was already in pieces. It was something deeper, the last thread of patience, of giving the benefit of the doubt, of believing that things could get better on their own. She remembered her own childhood, growing up in a family of 5 children where every penny counted. She had worked since she was 14, studied at night, and graduated with a nursing degree against all odds. She knew intimately the difference between humility and humiliation. Gabriel was being systematically humiliated, and she had paid $30,800 this school year to finance this torture. A movement in the corner of her eye caught her attention. The school principal, Dr. Wilson, emerged from his office. Amanda waited, innocently for a moment, for him to intervene upon witnessing the deplorable scene. Instead, Dr. Wilson approached Patterson with a smile. "Mrs. Patterson, I see you're keeping order with our special class." "Always, Dr. Wilson. Some of these children need constant reminders about privileges versus rights." "Perfect. Keep up the excellent work. The donor parents greatly appreciate the structure you maintain here." Amanda nearly dropped the phone. The principal not only knew about the segregation, he openly approved of it. This wasn't the cruel behavior of an out-of-control employee. It was institutional policy, systematic, approved from the top. Dr. Wilson walked over to a central table where a group of white parents were chatting animatedly. Amanda recognized some of the faces: doctors, lawyers, businesspeople she saw occasionally at school meetings. They laughed, relaxed, while a few feet away children were being psychologically tortured. The Rodriguez family. Patterson turned his attention to a skinny boy trying to hide behind Gabriel. "I hear your mother works in the country club kitchen. How convenient. Maybe she can teach us some authentic ethnic recipes in the next cooking class." Malicious laughter would erupt from the privileged tables. Phones were raised to record the joke. Amanda felt nauseous as she realized that these humiliations became viral entertainment for the wealthiest students. What broke her completely was when Gabriel turned to defend his friend. "Leave him alone. He didn't do anything." Patterson smiled as if she had won the lottery. "Oh, how brave. The problem child wants to play hero." She bent down until she was at Gabriel's height, invading his personal space. "Let me teach you something about hierarchy, dear. Here, you have no voice. You have no rights. You have temporary permissions that can be revoked at any time." She pulled a sheet of paper from her pocket. "Coincidentally, I have some disciplinary reports here that I need to fill out. Maybe it's time to document your aggressive and defiant behavior. It would be a shame if that made it into your permanent record just in time for high school applications." Gabriel turned pale. Amanda saw the terror in her son's eyes, not physical fear, but the existential fear of a child who understood that his future depended on the mood of a cruel woman. At that moment, Amanda made a decision that would change everything. She wasn't just an angry mother. She was a healthcare professional with 15 years of experience documenting cases of abuse. She knew the protocols, she knew how to build irrefutable evidence, she understood exactly how the system worked. While Patterson continued her power play, Amanda discreetly sent the video to her own email account and to a cloud backup. Then she did something that years of medical experience had taught her. She began to systematically document everything. Time, names, witnesses present, exact words, behaviors observed. Patterson finally dismissed the children from Sector C. Amanda watched Gabriel walk back to the corner, defeated, broken. Other children at the main table deliberately stretched their legs to trip him. A blonde girl accidentally spilled water in his path. Gabriel navigated the obstacles as if he did this every day. Because he did. 4 months. Amanda then understood the change in her son's behavior. The excuses for not going to school, the silence during dinner, the nightmares that began without apparent explanation. Gabriel wasn't just studying at Lincoln Academy, he was surviving it. The bell signaling the end of lunch rang. Amanda saw Patterson approach the children in Sector C1 last time. "Remember, dear ones, what happens in the cafeteria stays in the cafeteria. Grateful families don't rock the boat. Grateful families don't cause trouble." Gabriel nodded mechanically, along with the other children. They had been trained not only to accept abuse, but to keep it secret. Each new humiliation only strengthened something inside Amanda that Patterson couldn't see, a quiet determination fueled by the very injustice they were trying to perpetuate. What that privileged woman didn't know was that every act of cruelty against Gabriel was writing her own sentence of defeat, and Amanda had already begun to document every word of that condemnation. Amanda came out of hiding and walked straight to the table in Sector C. Her 15 years of experience as an emergency nurse had trained her to remain calm in crises, and this was definitely a crisis, only no one but her seemed to recognize it. "Gabriel," she said softly, sitting down next to her son. The other children looked at her with a mixture of curiosity and terror, as if the presence of an adult there was a violation of unwritten rules. Gabriel almost choked on his food. "Mom? What are you doing here? You can't sit here, they'll..." His eyes darted nervously between Amanda and the spot where Patterson had disappeared. "They're going to what, baby?" Amanda kept her voice low but firm. "Explain something to me. How long has this been going on?" Gabriel lowered his head, unable to meet his mother's eyes. "Since day one. But it's not the school's fault, it's just that we really are different. Mrs. Patterson always says that some families contribute more than others." Amanda felt a physical pain in her chest. Her 11-year-old son had internalized the discrimination himself, convincing himself that he deserved inhumane treatment. It was exactly what abusers did. They made their victims believe they deserved the abuse. Isabella, the Latina girl who had cried earlier, sighed softly. "My mom asks me every day if I'm happy at school. I always say yes because she works so hard to pay." Her voice broke. "If she knew, she might take money from food to put me somewhere else." "How many times a week do you go through this?" Amanda asked, her clinical mind already formulating specific questions. "Every day," replied Marcus, a black boy of about 10. "Patterson does the gratitude check every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The other times it's just normal. We stay in the corner, don't bother anyone." Normal. Amanda made a mental note. Systematic abuse had become normal for these children. What about the teachers? The other staff? Gabriel exchanged glances with the other children. "Everyone knows. But Mrs. Patterson said that if we complain, we'll be expelled for ingratitude and disruptive behavior. She has a file with the names of other schools that wouldn't accept us." Amanda discreetly pulled out her phone again and, pretending to check her messages, began taking photos. The contrast between the two areas of the cafeteria was even more striking from this new perspective. Hard wooden chairs versus padded armchairs. Cold fluorescent lighting versus natural light from the windows. Nearby trash cans versus a clean and organized environment. A man approached the table, Latino, maybe 40 years old, simple but well-groomed suit. "Sorry to interrupt," he said quietly. "I'm Dr. Rodriguez, Isabella's father. I also came to have lunch with my daughter and, well, I couldn't help but notice." He sat down, ignoring the nervous glances from the children. "Isabella, love, can you explain to me why you're sitting here instead of with your classmates?" Isabella began her rehearsed response about sector rules and different families, but Dr. Rodriguez gently interrupted her. "Sweetheart, I've been a pediatrician for 18 years. I know when a child is being programmed to say certain things." He turned to Amanda. "Are you Gabriel's mother? I've been seeing Isabella crying after school for weeks. Today I finally understood why." Amanda felt an unexpected relief. An ally. Someone with professional knowledge and resources. "Are you a doctor?" "Pediatrician at General Hospital." "And you?" "Emergency room nurse, same hospital. Night shift." The connection clicked immediately. Two healthcare professionals who knew exactly how to document cases of abuse. Dr. Rodriguez lowered his voice even further. "Have you documented anything?" Amanda discreetly showed him her phone. 28 minutes of video, plus photos of the segregated environment. "Perfect. I need to tell you something." He looked around, making sure no one was listening. "Do you know Nurse Jennifer Chen? She works in pediatrics." "I do, she's a good professional. Her daughter went through this here too. Last year. Jennifer tried to report it to management, but was told that her concerns had been noted, and that appropriate measures would be taken." Nothing changed. Her daughter developed severe anxiety, and Jennifer transferred her to a public school. Amanda felt her blood boil. Jennifer was one of the best pediatricians she knew, competent and dedicated. If even a respected professional was ignored, it confirmed that the problem went far beyond Patterson. How many other families have been through this? Many. But do you know what the pattern is? All families who complain end up being advised to seek environments more suited to their needs. The school keeps its reputation intact because the victims simply disappear. A perfect system, Amanda thought bitterly, caused so much psychological distress that families would rather leave quietly than fight publicly. Patterson reappeared in the cafeteria, scanned the area with eagle eyes, and immediately focused on the table where two adults were sitting with the children from Sector C. Her expression hardened instantly. She marched toward them, each step a declaration of territorial authority. "Excuse me, but parents are not allowed to sit in the student area during school hours." Dr. Rodriguez stood up calmly. "Ah, you must be Mrs. Patterson. I'm Dr. Rodriguez, Isabella's father." "I know who you are," Patterson interrupted rudely. "And you, young lady," she pointed at Amanda, "should have left after I explained that visits must be pre-scheduled." Young lady. Amanda almost smiled at the irony. A 34-year-old woman with a college degree and 15 years of professional experience, being treated like a rebellious teenager. "I'm just having lunch with my son," Amanda replied calmly. "In the wrong section. Families who wish to have lunch with students must use the family area." Patterson pointed to a small table near the kitchen entrance, clearly an afterthought designed for occasions like this. "Unless you prefer to have lunch off the property." Dr. Rodriguez frowned. "What a strange rule. At my eldest daughter's school, parents can sit with their children anywhere in the cafeteria. This is a premium private institution with specific protocols," Patterson smiled condescendingly. "Families who value our standards understand the need for organization." Amanda watched Patterson carefully. The woman was clearly irritated by the presence of two adults, but it hadn't yet escalated to outright hostility. Probably because Dr. Rodriguez seemed professional and articulate, he didn't fit the image of a problem family she had created. "I understand perfectly," Amanda said, standing up. "Gabriel, are we done with lunch?" Gabriel nodded quickly, clearly eager to avoid confrontation. As they walked toward the exit, Amanda heard Patterson whisper to an assistant, "Write down the names of these two. We need to have a conversation with Dr. Wilson about families who cause problems." In the parking lot, Dr. Rodriguez and Amanda exchanged phone numbers. "I have a proposal," he said. "How about we organize a small informal breakfast with other affected families? Jennifer Chun, a few other parents I know." "A kind of support group?" "Not exactly." His smile was calculating. "More like a collective documentation group. Several professionals gathering systematic evidence." Amanda liked what she heard. "When?" "This weekend. My house. I'll make some calls." While driving home, Amanda called Jennifer Chun. The conversation confirmed everything Dr. Rodriguez had mentioned and a few more disturbing details. Jennifer revealed that she had discovered a pattern in the voluntary transfers, always minority families, always after they tried to question school policies. "Amanda," Jennifer said, "I need to tell you something. I have friends at other private schools in the area. This doesn't happen anywhere else. What Lincoln Academy does is unique in its cruelty and systematization." That night, after Gabriel went to bed, Amanda sat down with her laptop and started researching. School review sites, parent groups on Facebook, local education forums. The more she dug, the more she found. Quickly deleted comments about negative experiences with diversity policies. One-star reviews that mysteriously disappeared. Families who seemed successful one year and were gone from the records the next. But most revealing was a thread archived from 3 years ago on the local Reddit. An anonymous parent had posted a detailed description of covert racial segregation at Lincoln Academy, including photos of the separate cafeteria. The post had exploded with hundreds of comments from other families sharing similar experiences. Then, overnight, the entire thread disappeared. User deleted, evidence erased. Amanda saved screenshots of everything she could recover through the Wayback Machine. It was as if someone had systematically erased any public criticism of the school. Her last discovery of the night was the most shocking. Lincoln Academy had a $180,000 annual budget dedicated specifically to what they called online reputation management and preventive public relations. $180,000 per year to silence families and erase evidence. Amanda closed her laptop at 2 a.m., but she couldn't sleep. For the first time in months, she felt something other than anger or despair. It was cold, calculated determination. Patterson and Dr. Wilson didn't know who they were messing with. Amanda wasn't just some mother making an emotional fuss. She was a trained professional who documented trauma, connected to a network of other equally competent professionals, and now she had evidence that this was a systematic operation of institutional abuse. What Patterson couldn't imagine was that every act of cruelty against Gabriel was building a coalition of health professionals, educators, and lawyers who had both the technical knowledge and personal motivation to completely demolish the system she had spent years building. Her arrogance would be her downfall, because while she destroyed children individually, she was inadvertently uniting their parents into a force that would be impossible to silence or intimidate. On Monday morning, Amanda entered Lincoln Academy through the front door. No longer as a nervous visiting mother, as a woman on a mission. The weekend had been revealing in ways Patterson could never have imagined. The meeting at Dr. Rodriguez's house brought together 12 families. Each brought evidence: videos, photos, emails, medical records of children developing anxiety and depression. But the turning point came when Amanda finally revealed something she had kept secret, even from Gabriel himself. "Everyone," she said, pulling an ID card from her purse. "I need to tell you who I really am. I'm Amanda Santos, senior investigator with the State Department of Child Protection Services. I specialize in cases of institutional abuse." The silence was absolute. Dr. Rodriguez was the first to speak. "You're federal? State, but with the authority to call in the feds when necessary. And you have just given me enough evidence to shut this institution down permanently." The room exploded with hopeful whispers. Amanda continued, "I've been investigating this school for 6 months, ever since I received the first anonymous tip. Enrolling Gabriel here was part of the undercover investigation." "You used your own son as bait?" Jennifer Chen asked, horrified. "No. Gabriel didn't know anything. But when he started showing signs of trauma, I realized I needed to speed up the investigation. Friday's video was the last piece I needed." Now, walking through the halls of Lincoln Academy, Amanda carried a briefcase that would destroy lives. Not just evidence collected by parents, but an official 6-month dossier documenting systematic civil rights violations, psychological child abuse, and financial fraud. Patterson saw her first. "Ah, the troublemaker mom is back. I hope you're here to pick up Gabriel's things, because his transfer has been approved." "Actually," Amanda smiled coldly, "I'm here to deliver some documents." She placed the folder on the reception desk. State Investigation Number 2024, CI 8847. Systematic Institutional Abuse of Minors. Patterson frowned, still not understanding. "What investigation? What are you talking about?" Amanda opened her official ID. "Amanda Santos, Department of Child Protective Services. You're being formally notified that this institution is under federal investigation for civil rights violations." The color drained from Patterson's face. "Federal? That's impossible. You're just a nurse, some random mom." "I've been an investigator for 12 years. A nurse in my spare time." Amanda pulled out her phone and showed the screen to Patterson. "And this is a live broadcast to my superiors, local media, and the state prosecutor's office." Patterson looked around desperately, like a cornered animal. "Dr. Wilson. Dr. Wilson." The director came running out of his office, saw Amanda, saw her badge, saw the cameras coming through the front door along with men in suits. His expression went from confusion to pure terror. "Good morning, Dr. Wilson," Amanda continued calmly. "I imagine you remember me. The problematic mother you had removed last week." You tricked us," Wilson stammered. "This is entrapment, it's illegal. Not when we have prior complaints and evidence of a systematic pattern." Amanda waved to the approaching federal investigators. "You made our job easier by documenting everything so meticulously." A tall investigator introduced himself. "Agent Morrison, FBI. Dr. Wilson, Ms. Patterson, you have the right to remain silent. No. Patterson exploded. This is a misunderstanding. We have rules, we have standards. These families don't contribute like the others. Keep talking, Amanda whispered. The cameras are rolling. We haven't done anything wrong. We just maintain order, we just make sure that every type of family knows its proper place in the social hierarchy. Dr. Wilson tried to cover her mouth. Too late. Patterson had just confessed to racial discrimination live on local television. Amanda turned to the cameras. 6 months of investigation, 12 victim families, 47 traumatized children. All documented, all evidenced, all proven. Parents began to arrive, alerted by investigators. Gabriel ran into his mother's arms. Mom, what's going on? Why are there so many people here? It's ending, baby. The nightmare is ending. Patterson was handcuffed in tears. My 30-year career. My reputation. You've destroyed my life. Amanda stared at her coldly. You destroyed the childhoods of dozens of children. Consider this justice. The handcuffs clicked. Dr. Wilson tried to negotiate, but federal investigators already had authorization to seize all computers, files, and financial records. The school would be temporarily closed for a complete audit. In the courtyard, reporters interviewed parents. Gabriel was called to speak, but Amanda protected him. My son has suffered enough. Today he regains his dignity. Jennifer Chun approached with her daughter. Amanda, how can we thank you? Take care of your children. Be their voices when they can't speak. What Patterson and Wilson never understood was that Amanda had turned her son's pain into fuel for an investigation that would change state law. Every tear Gabriel had shed had been documented, every humiliation catalogued, every injustice turned into irrefutable legal evidence. As federal authorities led Patterson and Wilson away in handcuffs to the official car, one truth crystallized in the air: sometimes the best revenge isn't to destroy cruel people, it's to use their own cruelty as the rope they chose to hang themselves with, proving that underestimating a determined mother is the last mistake anyone can make with impunity. 2 years later, Amanda Santos was being honored at the state capitol as Children's Rights Advocate of the Year. The investigation at Lincoln Academy had sparked an educational reform that protected thousands of students across the state. Gabriel, now 13, was studying at an excellent public school where he was respected and admired by his classmates. His confidence had been completely restored, and he often accompanied Amanda to lectures on civil rights. Patterson was serving a 5-year sentence for institutional child abuse. She lost her home, her pension, and lived in isolation in prison where, ironically, she was treated as an outcast by other inmates who knew about her crimes against children. Dr. Wilson was never able to find work in education again. His last social media posts showed a bitter man blaming corrupt investigators for his downfall, never acknowledging that he destroyed children on a daily basis. Lincoln Academy was sold and turned into a community center. Where the segregated cafeteria once stood, a free tutoring program for low-income children now operated. Do you know what my biggest mistake was? Amanda said during her speech at the Capitol. Thinking that justice was something other people did. I learned that each of us has the power to be the change our children need to see in the world. Gabriel applauded from the audience, proud. Next to him were Dr. Rodriguez and the other families who had fought together. Jennifer Chun smiled, knowing that other children would never have to go through what her daughters had suffered. Amanda's true revenge was not to destroy Patterson. It was to build a system where no child would ever again feel inferior because of their color or social background. If this story of courage and transformation has inspired you, subscribe to the channel to discover more real stories where the determination of ordinary people changes the world forever.